Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Dollar remains under pressure, but can US politicians agree on fiscal support? Video analysis. http ntvforex.com News ID CBD09F8192020 11:59:15 AM Market Overview. The dollar has come under increasing pressure in recent days in a move that has now driven the greenback down to levels not seen since Q2 2018. With Treasury yields falling along with a bull flattening yield curve, whilst FX futures positioning continue to reflect a market massively short USD, the dollar seems to be in the midst of a perfect storm right now. The lack of consensus amongst US politicians has certainly played a role in the dollar weakness, with the package of fiscal support measures still some way off. Perhaps though there is some movement to come on fiscal support, with the Democrats supposedly willing to cut their demands in half. It is interesting to see this has just steadied a rocky boat for the dollar this morning, pulling gold also lower, but the storm has not cleared yet. A weaker dollar helps to fuel US equities on a bull run, and we saw the S&P 500 touching all-time highs during yesterday's session. The Fed minutes will certainly be eyed today, with traders looking for any signals of further imminent easing. Away from the US, Japanese trade data has come in slightly better than expected overnight. UK inflation has also surprised sharply to the upside this morning, similar to the US data surprise last week, and again likely to be a knee-jerk to economy reopening and unlikely to be sustaining. Wall Street closed slightly higher with the S&P 500 up by 0.2% at 3,390, whilst futures are a touch higher with E-mini S&Ps up by 0.1%. Asian markets have been mixed to slightly positive overnight, with the Nikkei 0.3% higher whilst the Shanghai Composite 1.0%. In Europe, the shade of positive sentiment is meaning FTSE futures and DAX futures are 0.1% early this morning. The Forex majors reflect the risk-positive angle, with JPY the primary underperformer, whilst USD is also still relatively weak. AUD and NZD are performing well. In commodities, there is a slight moderation of yesterday's gains, with gold and silver around 0.5% off. Oil is just under 1% lower as traders look to the OPEC meeting today. There is little of real note on the economic calendar through the European morning aside from the final Eurozone inflation data for July. Eurozone final HICP is at 1000 BST and is expected to be NBSP. In fact, there is not much until the EIA crude oil inventories at 1530 BST, which are expected to be unrevised. Headline HICP at 0.4%, 0.4% July flash, 0.3% final June, and core HICP is expected to be 1.2%, 1.2% prelim July, 0.8% final June. Into the afternoon, the EIA crude oil inventories are at 1530 BST and are expected to show a drawdown of 2.5 M barrels, 4.5 M barrels last week. The big focus of today comes with the FOMC minutes for the monetary policy decision of July 29. Focus will be on any hints towards further policy easing measures. NBSP chart of the day. AAUD USD. There are days when picking the A chart of the dia is somewhat of an onerous task. Today, there has been a plethora of options, but the Aussie is certainly one of the more interesting charts nonetheless. With the ongoing strength in performance of the Australian dollar against US dollar in recent weeks, the Aussie did not need much to drive for the next upside break. The original breakout above the old June high of 0.7060 held this perfectly as support in recent weeks as the market has built higher. Yesterday's break above resistance at 0.7240 may not have held ground into the close. The session ended bang on 0.7240, but it does show that the bulls are ready to make the next move. A decisive move clear of 0.7240 would be the latest bull move that would open 0.7295 and 0.7395, which are resistance from late 2018. Momentum indicators are swinging higher in positive configuration with upside potential, all suggesting that intraday weakness is a chance to buy. The 21-day moving average today C0.7165 has been supportive as a basis for the bulls to gauge their buying opportunities for several months now. Initial support is at 0.7130-0.7190, whilst it would need a close below 0.7060 to change the outlook now. NBSP Brent crude oil. The oil price continues to struggle to push higher even in its ongoing positive configuration of higher lows. Breakouts lack traction, but equally there is a lack of selling pressure either. We favor long positions, but it really is a slow burn. Since the latest breakout began to fade at $46.25 a couple of weeks ago, the market has formed a consolidation band above $44.25. A couple of positive candles in the last 2 days give hope that perhaps something is building once more, but the market has opened cautiously today. The OPEC meeting will certainly be eyed for potential volatility today. Closing below $44.25 would be a disappointment, but as long as $41.30 remains intact, then the bulls will still have their higher lows intact. They will instead be looking to test $45.80, $46.25 for the next breakout, which would take the market clear of resistance and open the $50s. Momentum is positive but muted. NBSP Dow Jones Industrial Average. The Dow continues to struggle as the drift back of the past week has unwound the breakout. Pulling back from last week's high of 28,155, the market has again closed slightly lower. An unwind back to the breakout support at 27,580, 27,625 is now being seen. We discussed yesterday as to what the implications of this mild negative drift would be. We still believe that it is nothing to be overly concerned by and will likely be a move to renew upside potential. Momentum indicators are still positively configured even if the RSI is just tailing off slightly. Ideally, the market will look to use 27,580, 27,625 as a basis of support and platform for the next leg higher. However, whilst the support above 27,070 remains intact, then the bulls will be in a good position to use near-term weakness as a chance to buy. Resistance at 28,155 is clear, whilst yesterday's high bang on 28,000 adds to the near-term barrier to gains. NBSP. We continue to look towards the bulls being in control to push the recovery forward in due course. NBSP. Read more analysis here. EUR USD, GBP USD, USD JPY, Gold. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors.